everybody? Welcome to First World Problems, the podcast here on LegoMyGregO TV. I, of course, am LegoMyGregO. Welcome back. It's been a bit of a hiatus. It's been a doozy. I'm joined this week by my special guest. She owns a business. She made a book. She has chickens. Her name is Alex. She is here. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Good. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, sure.
What are the last 4 digits of your social security number?
Well, I am starting vet school in the fall, and I've just been kind of busy with school and everything lately. But yeah, I do have a business. It's called Peace Bees. My dad does most of it now, but it's about teaching people how honeybees are cool and they're not that bad. I do have a book that was part of my master's, and it's the Humane Education Guide to Doctor Who. It's on Amazon, so you can check it out.
And that was list.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun to do. I do have chickens, which I love very much. Super nerd, love going to conventions, all that, and yeah, that's about all I can think of.
What's your favorite convention that you've been to?
It depends on who's there, honestly. Like, I like C2E2 a lot, but I like Wizard World. It kind of depends on the guests, because that kind of just creates that whole atmosphere.
Yeah, that was like me. The first year I went to Indiana Comic-Con, Jenna Coleman was there, Carrie Fisher was there.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who else was there, but I'm like, all these amazing people I want to meet.
Right.
And I got to see none of them.
Oh.
And it was so upsetting.
I want to make it to Indy Comic-Con one of these days. I haven't been able to make it.
Well, I'll be there this year doing panels, so I can't announce it yet, but yeah, it'll be... I'm actually a little disappointed with the roster this year. It's cool, there's some really cool people going, it's just, I think my first year I kind of peaked with Jenna Coleman.
Well, yeah.
Until there's another Who guest or another Star Wars guest, so
yeah.
I'll figure it out one day, these days. Well, that's... Anything else, man?
No, not really.
All right. Well, I guess we'll dive right into our first topic. If you are unaware, ladies and gentlemen, the way the First World Problems podcast works, we are in a world filled with war and famine and evil and badness and corporate greed and the downfall of society and trash. There's litter everywhere, like on the streets. Have you seen this stuff?
Sure.
Meanwhile, you got me, little old Grego over here, and I'm concerned. I'm not concerned. I'm not quite outraged either, but I'm upset that I can't go 2 weeks without. Oh my God! There's another superhero thing coming out this week. Have you heard?
I have heard a lot about it, and I'm kind of part of the problem, but not 100%.
Yeah. So my topic, the first world problem for this week, is the oversaturation of the superhero genre. Is it oversaturated anymore? Because, and I think the best example of this is, so I was a massive fan of Smallville. Smallville was my favorite superhero show of all time.
Yeah.
And, went away for a while. There was nothing with Superman. Then the Supergirl came out. I'm like, okay, cool, this is fun, this is cool. But now there is a origin story called Krypton coming to Sci-Fi. And there's another one called Metropolis, which is another before Superman show. I can't remember where that one's coming out, but It's like they're announcing all these things. You got 4 Marvel movies a year. You got DC still trying to figure out what are our movies. Why don't people like this stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think? Is the superhero genre oversaturated?
In some ways, I think it is. I mean, honestly, it used to be that the superhero stuff was kind of, it was the nerd culture. And so it was a very fine little area of people that liked it. And now it's become, more mainstream, which is great for the nerds in a sense that it's more accessible, it's more around and more prevalent, and it's not like, oh, you're such a nerd. But at the same time, it's like, almost like, take away your baby. Like, everybody wants to go see him now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are so many shows, like you said. Like, there's so many things. And I haven't gotten into Black Lightning yet. I plan on it. But it just kind of like, the previews kind of look like just another one of those shows. And I feel like it's starting to kind of overlap on each other. I think some of them are losing their depth. And so they think, oh, well, let's just create a new show and go from there. And like, I'm over here like, well, instead of creating new ones, why don't we do things like, I don't know, bring back Firefly or, ones that we've kind of shortchanged.
Smallville Series 2. They can do it with the Doctor Who numbering for seasons when it came back instead of seasons and series. I mean,
and so that kind of thing. With the movies, though, I'm really glad that Marvel's been, kicking ass with these movies one after another. But then there's like DC and this weirdness, and Justice League wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. It wasn't horrible, but what drives me nuts is DC does not follow their like TV cinematic universe versus their cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Like the different characters, like they, a different Superman, a different Deathstroke, you know, all those things. And to me, someone who watches the television shows, I get attached to these characters. Like the guy who played, I think it was Deadshot or Deathstroke, one of the two, was really good on Arrow, and I really liked him. And then like now they're doing movies, and it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they should just kind of keep it, you know, all the same like Marvel does, and maybe they would have more luck with their movies. I don't know.
Yeah, I
but
get you.
I don't know. I feel like it might be getting a little too saturated because we're just starting to do more and more and more and more, and like there's nothing anymore. And they've also started to get really dark. Like Flash has gotten dark, Arrow's gotten really dark.
It worked for Dark Knight though.
It did. But I think at this point in the world, we've got enough darkness and doom and horrible things going on that I think it's time for a little bit more of that good old-fashioned Marvel, lighthearted, fun stuff like that, I think. And maybe keep that with the shows we already have instead of stop, you know, putting big ones in.
I get you.
I mean, did you watch Inhumans, Marvel's Inhumans?
No, I didn't.
It's really not the worst. Like, they're like, it's the worst show on television. And it's not that bad. It's got a guy from Game of Thrones in it. And it wasn't horrible, but at the same time, I was like, there's so many other superhero stories you could have told.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we got one season on this, we're probably not going to renew it. Let's start a new one.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we just need to focus on committing to the shows we already have.
Yeah. Well, it's like, Inhumans is Marvel's answer to, we don't have X-Men, we want to do something involving mutants, more or less. Right. Now they have X-Men, and I think something came out where it's like, we don't know if we actually want to do anything with X-Men, we might just let Fox keep doing what they're doing. It's like, or if you want to do a TV show with mutants, do live-action X-Men TV show.
That would be cool.
Like, you know, add X-Men to the Netflix Marvel universe or whatever.
Yeah, I think they're the most successful right now, honestly, because they've all been pretty good. Punisher was amazing. Yeah. Daredevil was pretty good. Iron Fist was pretty good. I mean, Luke Cage.
You are the first person I've heard who likes Iron Fist.
I don't mind him, honestly. And I don't know. I also am one of those people, I like to give them a fair chance. And he's also, like, not exactly the way they portray him. I mean, I'm glad they didn't give him the suit that's in the comics, because then everybody would be like, really? But I gave him a chance. I didn't mind him. I liked more when they were all together. Love Jessica Jones.
Oh my God, yes.
David Tennant, you know, even though he's horrible.
But he's so okay. It's
he's
like,
so good at being bad.
It's like the governor on Walking Dead.
You love to hate him.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, one of those villains I know. But you know, those kind of shows have done really well, and they are a little bit darker, but they're also a lot more for those mature audiences. And I feel like that's why it was so great when we had all those shows like Flash and Arrow and all of those, when they were much more lighthearted and fun, and then they got really dark really fast, and I think that it lost a lot of people. And I think maybe we just need to have a handful of like funny kid-like ones and a handful of adult ones, and just leave it alone for a little while.
Yeah, I get you. And see, even then, I feel like we're doing too much.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, we definitely are, but
I don't know. This was a topic on like one of the pilot episodes of this show, which was lost to the ages, and I was so upset. But when I decided to ask you, that'd be the perfect topic for you. I mean, right, words and stuff. Wow, I really just blanked my thought. Sorry about that. I just feel like there's already so much going on. And yeah, it'd be easier to divide it up into, you know, here are the shows for kids, here are the shows for adults. I'm at the point now, though, where it's like, I just don't care anymore. Yeah. Like, I like Legends. I watched Legends for a little bit. What I've seen of Arrow, I liked. What I've seen, I couldn't get into Flash. Supergirl was good for a bit, but then when, you know, Dean Cain came in, that's kind of when I fell off. I'm like, okay, this is getting very, there was one episode in particular where it's like, they revealed that spoiler alert, Dean Cain's a bad guy. And that entire episode, I'm like, this is going to happen next. Boom, happens. Like,
very predictable.
I'm like, okay, that's why I turn it off. That's why I'm done with TV. And then the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I'm like, okay, after Avengers, I'm done. I don't care anymore. Yeah. Because there's like, okay, Thor's never been a character I've been interested in the first place. I want a Hulk movie, they're not going to do it again. Okay, that's fine, I get it. Want a Black Widow movie, not going to do that. Okay, cool. Black Panther, cool. I'll watch it, I'll enjoy it. Not a hero that I'm necessarily too into, I guess you could say. Yeah. Ant-Man and Wasp looks hilarious, but again, I just don't have the bandwidth for it anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then we have DC, who's just kind of... It's like, DC is like when a little kid gets away from his parents and just goes running away. Like, I'm free, I can do whatever I want! And then they did it.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And I didn't care anymore.
Yeah, and you know, even in Justice League, you know, the fact that they digitally removed Henry Cavill's mustache, I'm like, really? Like, there's just things that DC does that just blows my mind. However, I will say, and I agree with the saturating, but then on the other hand, I'm also so glad that there's this variety of superheroes that's accessible to everyone. Like how long it took to get an African-American superhero really front and center. I mean, yeah, we got Diggle and all that on Arrow, but like Black Panther is huge. I mean, that movie is revolutionary in that sense. And so that's great to have access for everybody and you know, kind of different people can identify with different things. And I guess it also depends. Like, were you big on any of the comics? Did you read a lot of these comics?
And that's,
I was less of a comic book person and more of a book person. So to me, I guess it's almost like it's kind of two different worlds where someone who doesn't really read the comics, I mean, I keep up with the encyclopedias and the origin stories and all that. But someone who reads the comics, it's almost like you're getting a second run through of something you've already seen. And so I feel like that might be a little bit more, even more oversaturated for that crowd, like you guys. And then, but for me, it's like mostly all new. And so I do also think that it's a lot better to have saturation of superhero movies than stupid shows like The Bachelor and Jersey Shore and all that.
Oh, God,
So I like to see the bright side of life on that and just say, well, it could be worse.
Oh, my God, yeah. That is a brilliant point. And see, I feel like it's because the nerds grew up, you know? It's like, they spent all this time getting, you know, kicked and it's like, oh, comic book nerd. And it's like, well, guess what? Now I'm running Hollywood. I'm J.J. Abrams.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point, you know? I would much rather have superhero shows than... I just wish they were doing different stuff, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's hard after a while. You kind of end up recycling... I mean, I know there's hundreds of superheroes in all the different universes, but it's kind of one of those. And in a way, though, I mean, superhero, but also you have to look at, like, Lucifer. I mean, that's from Neil Gaiman. So, I mean, that's technically, it's a comic book universe, and a lot of people who watch that are not comic book people.
I'm waiting for the payoff. I'm waiting for the payoff of how Clark Kent's in that show. Like, how did Clark Kent get in that universe?
Oh, I know. But he's actually kind of great.
I haven't seen too much of Lucifer, but I have seen.
There's a reveal of like who he is, and it makes so much more sense now. But I'm not gonna be that spoiler person.
I haven't gotten there yet, so yeah.
But I mean, it kind of depends, you know. I guess it's kind of where you're coming from into the universe of the comic book world, and then what else is there to watch other than that? Because you know, TV today.
TV today. And on your point about being a comic book fan, Superman, Doomsday, and Dark Knight Returns are two of my favorite comic book stories, and they just had to cram them in together to make Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And that was just, I forgot at that point. I completely forgot I was going to bring that up, and then just okay.
I feel like that's one of those movies though that even people that didn't read comics kind of. I got that. I was like, yeah, this could have been way better. You could tell there was some plot holes and just kind of. Yeah,
I was bored. The reveal of Wonder Woman should have been such a bigger moment, but since they had the thing with like, let's look at the picture.
Yeah.
It kind of really killed the moment there.
Yeah.
This isn't news. It's just, it really just. I'm still mad.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about it.
And that's another thing with DC too is like. I am so happy with Wonder Woman personally. I thought it was great. I think she did great. But then like. You go to Justice League, and I don't know what happened between the new movies because it was all women empowerment, and then Justice League, you see the Amazonians, and they're like in teeny tiny like uniforms and everything, whereas like in Wonder Woman, when you were back on her homeland, you know, they were all very covered and like badass looking, and now they were like, hey, let's show some more skin, and I was like, okay, what director did this? There was that big, and then Gal Gadot was like, I'm not working with this anymore. So I mean,
as a guy, it pains me to say it. It was a male director. That's all. That's the only reason for it.
I mean, I get that, but again, there's that consistency thing.
Yeah.
And so I think when they go, "Oops, we messed up," or "Oh, you know, Batman versus Superman, we got to make 10 other ones to make up for it." And so I think they're just trying to revive themselves too.
Yeah. Good luck making 3 more.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I will ever get enough Guardians of the Galaxy movies personally myself because.
The spin-off show. Get the Parks and Rec Guardians of the Galaxy crossover episode.
Dude, that would be amazing. Like Rocket and like Aziz Ansari, like being the same person. Just, I don't know. I feel like that could be great. Although he's kind of in hot water right now too. But
oh my God, yeah,
such is life.
That's a whole other first world problem.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that'll wrap our discussion on superheroes.
Cool. All right.
We're going to move into our next topic. So on First World Problems, the podcast, we've always been very much oriented in talking about the first world problems. And we'll get to another one later in the show, if you have time, of course. But right now we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to play a game. This is a game I'm calling Tom Petty. And the way this game is played, I'm going to give you a real-life situation that happens. Something serious, something mundane. But I want you to respond to it in the pettiest way possible. I want you to really just embrace the stereotypes of the millennial generation.
Okay.
All right. First scenario. You are at the store. The snow is coming, so naturally everyone is panicking, grabbing things off the shelf. You see the last carton of milk. You want this milk. You need this milk. Then along comes someone else who picks up the milk, puts it in their basket, and starts walking away. How do you react to this problem?
I'm going to first preface it by saying my master's is in humane education, so like all of these answers are so not me, and I'm so sorry.
I'm excited.
Well, first of all, I guess it would depend on who the person was. Like if it was like an old person, I would just be like, I mean, you're gonna die in a year anyway, so give me your milk. Like, I mean,
like one carton of milk is gonna make the difference, Grandma.
Yeah, really. I mean, or like you're gonna slip on the ice outside anyway, or make them slip and get your. I mean, I am really digging deep here. I'm getting brutal.
By all means, please do.
Yeah, I would say, it kind of depends on the person, but yeah, just get mean,
All right, fair enough. All right, question number 2. You have another grocery question, I just realized.
Okay.
You have ordered your groceries to be delivered to you via Instacart.
Okay.
In your Instacart instructions, you put on the thing, just leave the groceries and go. I don't want to interact with people. Which apparently they'll do. They get to your house, you hear the knock at the door, you look through your little peephole, they're just standing there waiting for you. How do you react to the situation?
There's so many things. I would probably say, if we're going full on Tom Petty, I would probably literally just sit there in my house and just let them keep ringing the bell and just completely ignore them, turn music up really, really loud, and like something very ironic, like either some like very angry screaming song or something very happy, one of the two, so they obviously get that they're being ignored, and just literally sit there and sit on my phone and like start tweeting about it, like hashtag Instacart, like read my instructions, turd, and like just keep, and just wait. And then eventually they'll either keep bothering you or they'll leave it and be like, that's what I instructed you to do and you didn't do it, so you got ignored. Sorry, man.
Oh, that's great. Great. All right. You are now an ambassador for the United Nations.
Okay.
Everyone's frantic. World War III is coming. Everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to talk about it. But you are the deciding vote. You are the person who decides what we talk about in this meeting. What do you talk about at this UN meeting instead of World War III?
Obviously preface it with, well, America is the greatest. Because that's how we all feel, because nobody else matters. And just that, all the things that America gives. And so therefore we should not, be in this war because, we brought the world all the good things, that our, millennials love so much. We brought the world Justin Bieber, right? And
oh, you win there.
I did. All those things, Jersey Shore.
Oh yeah.
All the great things in life, and without that, without America, we wouldn't have those things, and then everybody would be like, yeah, this is why we're gonna nuke you right now because this is horrible.
We need get our individual suitcases out right now. All right. The fourth and second to last, actually, I was going to press this fourth and final. That's not correct. You were at a board game night with some friends.
Okay.
You're playing Monopoly. Before the board game starts, you're waiting, okay, where's our host? Where's the person who invited us over? Comes out. He's wearing a fedora, a nice pressed suit, and carrying what you do not know is an airsoft gun. Because it looks like a gun.
Okay.
What is this lunatic doing? He's getting really into Monopoly. He's just like, I want to be a slumlord, let's do this.
All right.
How do you react to this? How do you react to seeing this human being?
Oh man. What would a millennial do? This one's really hard. And you don't know if it's an airsoft gun, so what, you think it's a real gun.
Yeah, I mean, you know the person, so you know, even if it is real, he probably won't shoot you.
Okay,
but...
fair enough. Well, first off, I think we would start with, I would be frantically scrambling for a participation trophy for, you know, his effort in trying to make the game night better.
Okay, good.
Because, you know, everybody counts.
Everyone counts.
Everyone counts.
There's a bullet in the chamber for all of you.
Yeah. And then it's so hard because the nerd in me wants to just be like, well, hold on, let me go home, I'll change, and I'll get into my outfit, and we'll just make this like a cosplay Monopoly. So like my brain is just not getting petty. I don't know. What would you do?
Well, personally, I've been in this situation.
What?
And I just met the guy too.
Okay, yeah.
So I was terrified. A little terrified of what was
under the coffee table. Just
yeah, I was like, hey, friend, how are you? Yeah, just gonna tuck myself behind you on the couch.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was a thing. So,
all right.
All right, and the final topic question on Tom Petty.
Okay.
You're at the dog park. Mm-hmm. You love, with your loving canine companion, or companions.
Yeah.
It's just you. You know, you had some people there earlier, you guys are all getting along, the dogs are all behaving as they should. Mm-hmm. They all left, and you're like, I'm gonna stay a few more minutes.
Okay.
This other dog, this lady comes in with another dog, who is barking, he's loud, and just jumping everywhere, and okay, this isn't good. You have a little tiny dog, you know, she's like a Sheltie, or like a not Bugle, it's a pug.
Okay, a small dog. Right.
Yeah, small dog.
Okay.
The lady lets this dog off the leash. The dog goes, bowls over your little dog, then starts growling and barking. And you see the lady going, oh, he's only a puppy. He doesn't know any better. How do you react to this lady? And her said canine accomplice.
This is a super pet peeve of mine when people don't like train and control their animals, and you know, it's like I can't even say if this is like really not what I would do in real life, because I feel like I would probably do this as well, because this is just really
relatable.
Works me. Yeah. Right. Well, I would first look at the lady. I would pick up my dog because I wouldn't want it to get mauled. And I'd say, I have a couple questions for you, ma'am, and probably say, you know, is this how you let your children behave? And then I would expect her answer to be, oh, I don't have any kids. And I'd say, well, no doy, who would marry you? Because you're obviously an idiot. And then they'd get really upset. And then hopefully there'd be some portion of her, like, I don't know, me dropping one of the poop bags from my dog and they slip on it and fall in their dog shit, and then it just would go full circle.
A lot of feces.
I don't know, honestly, I would just be really upset. I don't even know if I would be able to like think of what I would do. But honestly, to be petty, I can't be mean to the animal though, because I would never do that. Honestly, I think that lady would just really get an earful, and I would try my best to be as petty as possible, but I don't know how I could do it. I think I would just be very upset.
Fair enough. That's completely fair. All right, and that was Tom Petty. That was the game Tom Petty. It's a work in progress. Just made it up a few hours ago because that's how I work. That's how I roll. If you have any suggestions for Tom Petty scenarios, you can leave them over on Facebook.com/LegoMyGregO. It's LegoMyGregO TV, I believe. I actually don't remember. Link in the description below. Or on Patreon.com/LegoMyGregO. That's simply there. Or in the comments below. Also, there's plenty of ideas. Just let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments. Yeah. So, how are we on time? Do you have time for?
I'm great. Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
Well, we got one more segment. It is a submission from Facebook. It is another first world problem. Loud people at the movies. What do you do when you're sitting there enjoying a movie and you just hear someone on their cell phone just yucking it up or cackling away, or they're filming it with their phone? Like, you know.
Well, okay. Occasionally, I wouldn't say I'm a loud person at the movies. I will say, though, that I'm very reactive at the movies. Like, every once in a while, if there's something, like, I may accidentally, like, blurt out, like, holy crap, or or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I get quiet, so I don't really think I'm that person.
You know, other people in the horror movie like, don't go in the room. She went in the room. She went in the room.
If I do, I'm like going like like I'm really really quiet about it.
Or like that guy in Captain America: First Avenger who's just like, oh, come on, get on with the cartoon.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like okay, whatever. This has happened a lot to me. And part of it, I think, is because a lot of the movies I go see in theaters are superhero/nerd related, so there's always kids, and they're the worst. So, like, actually, where was it? I was actually going to see The Greatest Snowman with my friend. Showman. I said Snowman. It could have been good. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been great.
Future writers, screenwriters, get on that.
Yeah. The Greatest Showman. And, we sat down, and before the movie even started, like, this kid's like kicking the back of my chair, and I looked at my friend and I said, unless a small child wants to die tonight, we need to move. And he's like, okay. So we moved over immediately because he could tell that I was very serious. And so he's like, let's just move now, let's not wait. And I'm like, okay. So that was fine, and I could hear the kid still a little bit. But as much as I would like to think I stand up for myself and everything, I'm very quiet and overly nice and let people push me around in that sense. So when there are loud people, and there usually are behind me, I usually just shut up and don't do anything about it. I wish I could like say something, but I'm also that kind of person like, what if that person I just told to shush is like having a really bad day and it's like, that's it, I want to beat somebody up, or I'm gonna find you in the parking lot. Like, I'm a big wuss in that sense. I mean, I know how to defend myself, but at the same time, I don't want to have to. So I'm like,
you don't want to add the fuel to the fire.
No, I don't want to be that person that just sends them over the edge, and then I mean, I really wish I could be that person. However, I will say this is not in movies, but like watching TV, like when Walking Dead's on. And I used to watch this like at school in my dorm room. Like if someone would come in or start talking, I would just be like, you need to be quiet now because Walking Dead's on and I don't have a TiVo, so I can't pause it or anything. So if you know what's good for you, you will be quiet.
This could be the week they finally get to Terminus.
Exactly, yeah, that kind of stuff. And television shows, I will shut that shit down, as Negan says. I will tell people to knock it off and not do that. But movies, because I don't know the people, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. TV shows are another good one like that, where the Doctor Who did this. So for a while, I was watching Walking Dead and Doctor Who at my brother-in-law and sister's house, and we'd watch it every week and be all fun and good. And occasionally, they'd have a friend come over. This one friend in particular, her name is Kathy.
Kathy, if you're out there reading or listening to this.
So it was a Peter Capaldi episode, and him and Claire are having a moment or whatever, and she's like, is she in love with him?
Oh my God.
Why are you in love with him? He's so old.
When people come in late on the storylines.
Yeah, it's like just over for tacos or whatever. And it's just like, can you shut up? I'm trying to advance the plot here. They're doing something. And just shut up and go away.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the movies go, that's why I go to Movies 14, where they have all the comfy chairs I can recline. Yeah. And I sit in the very front row, so I can actually, because with the reclining chair, I can actually see what's happening.
That's true, yeah. Otherwise, front row is, like, not even worth it. It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, movies are a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love going to see movies, but I'm very particular because, number one, most of them are ridiculously expensive. And
Movie Pass.
Yeah, that's true. And two, you have to deal with the other people in the theater, and usually the less exposure to people, the better, especially people you don't know.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that worked for movie theaters, and movie theaters are really gross too. So like, that compiled with you can't control how people are acting and stuff, or the people that get up to go somewhere in the middle of a movie, I'm like, dude, like snacks and bathroom happened before, because you just got up and like distracted me during this movie. I don't know what just happened.
The last movie I remember doing that to, because I realized how bad my idea was, and I did this because I read the comic book of the movie before I saw it, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Like I knew it was going to happen at this particular moment. I'm going to go do whatever, get a snack or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not missing anything.
Yeah. Although you can't do that all the time though. No. Especially in TV shows, because you think you know what's going to happen. Like the Shadowhunters series, I read the books. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and then they like already killed a character that's alive in the last book. I'm like, oh, so they will change things on you.
Indeed. Okay.
So when that person's talking, you know, behind you
Yeah.
in a movie theater, you can miss out.
It's when you take your boomerang and just chuck it at them. I don't know why I have a boomerang in this scenario, but you know what? It's efficient.
I don't really know if those like commercials at the beginning that talk about like, hey, be quiet and keep off your cell phones really help. But I feel like for the most part, people have gotten more respectful in a sense.
Because they know that if they talk, an angry mob will come and beat them.
Yeah, definitely. Now I don't go to like Nicholas Sparks movies or anything like that, to where like you know in the theater that if you're really trying to watch the movie, it's not going to happen because there's probably a bunch of couples like making out behind you. But I don't go to those, so luckily I don't have to worry about that. But like for the most part, I feel like when nerds go to movies, for nerd movies, aside from the children, they tend to be pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Aside from a gasp or a sigh here, you know, which I'm also guilty of. Or cheer.
When
Yeah.
Hulk
Yeah.
smashes
Totally.
something.
My biggest pet peeve actually is when people start getting loud when they're leaving, and it's at the end of a Marvel movie. And
There is another thing
I'm like,
coming.
how many movies have there been? Why are you getting up? Are you dumb? Like,
my megaphone out. Sit down.
You would think like movie theaters would almost put like a sign up that says, sit down, you dumb, it's not over. Or like, you know, or something just.
Deadpool should do that.
Yeah, for real.
That'd be
He should just be lounging like at the end of the credits, like, you better stay there, you're gonna miss something, idiots, you know.
Yeah.
Something sassy, Deadpool like.
Like he just walks on screen in the middle of the credits and is like, hey.
Be like, hey,
stop it.
sit down. Thanks.
Like the
You know,
credits just pause. Like you see a little pausing icon in the corner, so it's like when you hit the remote.
Yeah, he walks out. Yeah, I think that would be great. Eating, you know, like chimichanga or something.
I'm gonna start writing Deadpool 3 when I get home.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm already
There
writing
you go.
episode 9. I'll just add that to my.
Just start from, you know, the credits and then work backwards. You know, forget the plot in the actual movie. Just the
I
credits.
just want that one joke.
credit.
That one joke.
Yeah.
It's a Deadpool Spider-Man movie. That's all right.
Okay.
So,
All right. Fair enough.
we're gonna do that. All right, so I think that will wrap up this episode of First World Problems, the podcast. Alex, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Where can our audience find you? Where can they find your book or the bees or?
Well, let's see. On Amazon, you can find my book. It's under the author Alexandra Lesniak, Lesniak, and that's where you can find me. Instagram and Twitter is @thebgirl, because I have bees. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Look me up. Super nerd, so that's most of my content. But yeah.
Good. Hey, that's good for my audience. Trust me. All 4 of you.
Hey, it's more than one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching First World Problems, the podcast this week. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode, brand new guest, and I might tweak this Tom Petty game. I might come up with a new game. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. If you want to support the show, you can do that over on patreon.com/LegoMyGregO for as little as $1. You can help out the show. It helps a lot because I want to buy equipment. More equipment. Yes, please. And because YouTube's really, they're not doing me any favors lately. My God, I'm so mad about that. So that'll do it. Facebook page, you can check us out there. Follow us with news and stuff. Subscribe to the channel. New videos coming soon with stuff and things. So that's all I got.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things. Thank you very much for that.
Coral.
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 I'll see you guys next time. Internet, cut.